Hey guys, this is Eric with Try Not to Break Anything. And today I want to talk to you about something that I made recently that I believe, and the data has shown based on the testing that I've been doing, is better than the BambuLab's Anti-Vibration Feet. And that's these things right here. I'm calling them the Try Not to Break Anything Anti-Vibration Feet. So today I'm going to show you some of the testing that I did on my X1 Carbon with the regular feet that come with the printer as compared to the anti-vibration feet that you could buy from BambuLabs for $10. And when we're done testing the BambuLab anti-vibration feet, we're gonna test the Try Not to Break Anything anti-vibration feet and see how well they stack up against BambuLabs. So some of you at this point might be wondering, why would you buy any kind of anti-vibration feet for the BambuLab X1 Carbon? Isn't it like the best machine in the world? And the truth is, it's one of the best 3D printers I've ever used. However, one of its drawbacks, in my opinion, is that when this thing is printing, it makes my entire table shake a lot. And here's an example of the printer printing with the regular feet on. I don't know if it's obvious to you, but it certainly is to me that my table is rocking back and forth like crazy, to the point that my Voron can't get a good quad gantry leveling when my Bambu printer is printing. So I went out, as some of you already know, and I bought the anti-vibration feet. So let me tell you guys about some of the tests that I did, how I tested it, and the data that I got from the results. All right, so in order to test to see how well these anti-vibration feet are working with the Bambu X1 Carbon, here's what I did. I opened up Bambu Studio Slicer and I put on 5 cubes on a build plate, 1 in each corner and 1 in the center. Then I had it sliced and sent it to the printer. Then I installed each set of feet, and after installing the feet, I went in the X1 Carbon's Utilities tab and I did a resonance configuration for each set of feet prior to doing any kind of printing. After the resonance testing was completed, I then placed my iPad right here with this really cool app. It's called Physics Toolbox Sensor Suite. And what's neat is that it uses the iPad's accelerometer to basically pick up any kind of vibrations or movements. And so I just sat the iPad right here on the table and waited for the printer to get to the second layer of the print. The reason why I did the second layer as opposed to the first layer when I did my testing is that I believe that the second layer, it's not going to be going as slow as it is on the first layer. And I think that's going to be a better representation of how the overall printing is going to be. So I just went with the second layer of that print. After running the test on the entire second layer, I then emailed the results in a CSV file to my computer, and then I started extrapolating the data on Excel. And then I came up with a bunch of charts. All right, so let's talk about some of the results that I got from the testing. The X1 Carbon on my table, when it was just running with its regular feet that it comes with, the highest level vibration detected by the iPad was a 0.91. And the average vibrations detected by the iPad came out to a 0.1966. So that serves as our baseline to see what kind of vibrations we're getting from the X1 Carbon when it's running without any kind of vibration dampening. Up next, it was time to test the BambuLab Anti-Vibration Feet. After running the test, the highest level of vibration that my iPad picked up was a 0.55. And the average level of vibrations picked up by the iPad was a 0.1023. So I saw a significant reduction in vibrations just by using the anti-vibration feet by BambuLab. So not only does my real world observations confirm what the data is already telling me, the BambuLab anti-vibration feet, they work. Now here comes the cool part, in my opinion. I spent about a week and a half trying to design some anti-vibration feet that would be better than the ones that BambuLab sells for $10. So I'll be straight up with you guys. The only reason why I did any kind of testing is because truthfully, I just wanted to see if I could make my own anti-vibration feet. And that's this design right here. These are the Try Not to Break Anything anti-vibration feet, as I said before. And what's cool about them is that it's made from 2 different materials, all right? On the top and bottom, we have TPU, and the TPU that I'm using has a shore hardness of 95A. Which means that it's more on the rigid side as opposed to being softer like maybe Ninja Flex or rubber. And what I like about this design is that you can see in the top part here, the way that it's cut out. I made those grooves intentionally because they fit inside the bottom of the X1 Carbon perfectly. They're very nice. It's very nice and snug to the point where if you were to lift your printer, they wouldn't fall out. The other part that I love about this design is, of course, at the bottom for the feet, for traction, I used my logo. You've probably already noticed by now that there's another material that is circling the two pieces, holding the top part up. And before I tell you what it is, I had a choice between 3 different materials to use. And so my choices were to use either ABS, PLA, or PETG. And so what makes this kind of cool is that you can interchange any of these pieces because they're just clips. And what's neat about them is that in order to put the clips inside of these anti-vibration feet, all you do is just slide it in and they snap right in. So you don't need to use any glue or screws or anything like that in order to complete this design and actually use it for your own printer. All right, so going back to the discussion of whether to use ABS, PLA, or PETG, I actually tried all 3 different materials to see which one would provide the best anti-vibration qualities that we were looking for in anti-vibration feet, believe it or not. So I want to talk to you about the results that we got in my first test using ABS. So using the ABS clips for the try not to break anything design, the highest level vibration was a 0.81. So that was really off the charts compared to the anti-vibration feet by BambuLab. Meanwhile, the average vibrations felt by the iPad using the ABS clips came out to a 0.1195. So generally overall, it had some pretty good vibration reduction compared to having no feet, but the highest level vibration felt was almost as high as the X1 Carbon when it's just using its regular feet that came with it. So right then and there, I decided ABS was not going to be the material I was going to use. So the next material I used for the clips was PLA. So when I tested this design with the PLA clips, I got a maximum level of vibration of 0.57, which was a really good reduction in the highest level vibrations compared to the ABS clips and actually not using any kind of anti-vibration at all. Now remember, the highest vibration felt by BambuLab's anti-vibration feet was a 0.55. So having a 0.57 wasn't that bad. However, now when you look at the PLA clips average vibrations felt, you could see that it was even greater than the ABS clips, coming in at an average of 0.1308. So there I was thinking, you know what? I'm not gonna use the PLA clips for this design. We can do better. And before we talk about the PETG clips, I just kind of wanted to mention something else too. The other reason why I didn't want to use PLA or ABS clips is because PLA and ABS is a much more rigid and stiffer material as compared to PETG. And you got to remember something, these clips have to have some sort of flex when it's got weight on it. Now with the ABS and the PLA clips, if there was too much flex, it would start deforming on the edges, and the reality is there would be a failure and the amount of vibrations that were going to be blocked anyways would just cease to exist. So that was the other reason why I decided not to even go with ABS or PLA. So now let's talk about the PETG clips. After running my tests, the highest level vibration picked up by the iPad was a 0.5. That was 0.05 less than the BambuLab's anti-vibration feet. But it gets even better. When you look at the average level of vibrations felt throughout the entire second layer using the PETG clips, the average level was 0.0938, which blew every other anti-vibration feet that I tested that day out of the water. So yeah, that was the data that resulted from all the testing that I did. Guys, before you go into the comments and start criticizing the testing that I did, I just want you guys to understand something. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a designer, I'm not an engineer. I just decided to challenge myself to see if I can make some anti-vibration feet that could work better than BambuLab's. And the reality is this, these aren't perfect either. I don't know how long these clips are gonna last, but I know that there's probably gonna be a lot of people that don't wanna spend money on anti-vibration feet and maybe wanna design something that works just as well and looks cooler, in my opinion. So yeah, what's neat also about this design as well is that if any of the clips start deforming or have any issues or get damaged, you could just print a whole bunch of these clips in under an hour. I think I printed about 60 of these clips in about an hour, hour and a half. And so this design only needs 24 clips. So having backups is always a good idea at the end of the day. And the chances are, if you're watching this video, you probably already have TPU laying around and possibly have PETG as well. They're both materials that are pretty easy to print with. TPU, not so much, but it's totally doable depending on the type of TPU that you decide to use. So listen guys, I'm saying that they're better than the BambuLab's anti-vibration feet. I'm sure there are hundreds of different ways that you could go about reducing the vibrations from the BambuLab printer, like getting a giant stone or putting a rubber mat down or buying anti-vibration feet from somewhere else. And that's fine. I hope you guys do that. You don't have to like my design. But those of you that are curious, you guys can download my design, print them out yourself, and use it on your BambuLab printer. But here's the thing, if you do that, I want to hear about it. So if you're interested or have already printed out these feet and tried it for yourself, come back to the comment section and leave a comment. Or better yet, do a video on your own YouTube page if you have one, or get on TikTok or Instagram and tag me in a video there. I'd love to see what your guys' thoughts are on this design. And if there's any way I can improve it or make it better, let me know. All right guys, well that is pretty much the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the design that I made, or you think it's cool or interesting, leave a comment and let me know. If you think the anti-vibration feet are pretty stupid and no one should use them, leave a comment there as well. And I want to give a special thanks to all of my subscribers. It really means a lot to me that you guys are subscribing. I love the comments that you guys are leaving me on my videos. I love that you're sharing my videos, liking my videos. It really means a lot to me. I'm surprised with how much this channel has grown. And it's not even a huge channel. I just never thought in a million years that I'd have over 250 subscribers on my channel. So with that said, guys, thank you so much. Check out my Colts 3D page if you want to download this design. And while I've got you here, come check out some of my videos, which is probably going to be over here or over here. I really don't know. But all right, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thanks.